Hey guys, it's Adam, and as you know, I've been traveling all over the country visiting makerspaces, learning skills and techniques, and seeing the amazing practices of makers all over this wonderful nation of ours. And most recently, I visited Lower 48 Wood Shop, where the incredible Jolie taught me the rudiments of making wooden bowls. Look at all that beautiful texture coming out of the wood. It's so cool. Let's see, I have a couple more tricks up my sleeve. Got a little bit of Scotch-Brite here. Just want to see what this does. All right, one more thing. Yes, what is this? One of my favorite materials, 000 steel wool. Let's see if this can take us to that final shine. Oh, look at this. This is almost like I know what I'm doing. It's so light. It's beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, oh, that's lovely. There we go. That is a walnut wooden bowl made on a wood lathe with help from the incredible Jolie at Lower 48 Wood Shop. Jolie, I thank you for the new skill.
So this is Brian Larkin's shop. He makes period furniture, using only the period tools. So he makes his own saws. He spends most of his time sharpening things.
Sure. This is a table he's putting together that is not using any power tools. It's all hand tools that he's built.
Yeah, all hand tools. And it's great because I love this because here he is just an artisan. He's creating, but it is not creative. This is history. This is research. This is appreciation of the skills that came before and lovingly handcrafted in a way that nobody would probably ever pay him enough for.
Oh my God.
So it's a labor of love.
Hello, Derek.
Hey, Adam. Welcome to Artisan's Asylum.
Thank you very much. I'm really excited about this. I have heard that it's amazing, but I have not heard anything else.
Okay.
So I'm a tabula rasa.
Well, it, like all good things, is what people here have made it. This is us. You can see here that you are here for scale.
Oh, yep.
We started with two people. A guy who made robots has recently challenged Japan to a giant robot fight.
Oh,
and his
okay.
fiance, who was a costumer, wanted to share a meal in an industrial sewing machine and asked people on Facebook, hey, who'd be interested? 100 people showed up to the organizing party. 7 years later, we're in 40,000 square feet.
And it's a cooperative.
It is all member run. We're an educational nonprofit. Our mission is to promote the teaching, learning, and practice of fabrication, which is all the fancy. We want people to make stuff.
Yeah.
We want people to know how to make stuff. And we want them to learn it from each other here. So we act on this in a few ways. We provide, I'll show you some of our 12 different shops. But beyond providing tools, we provide classes in all the tools. And we provide affordable studio space, micro studios, because you have shared workspaces.
Sure.
But it just lets us have a huge, amazing community full of people who collectively know everything. If you're in our membership agreement, it's a little weird. We want you to come in, so we're not the gym, and you have to promise to take feedback gracefully. You don't have to do it, but you have to listen to anyone who says, hey, I don't think that's safe, or hey, what's going on with that? Have you tried this?
Oh, fascinating.
And it's not a place about NDAs and startups, finding co-marketing synergies. It's people making stuff, people asking questions, on our mailing list or just wandering around. So it's gotten to be a pretty big business, but we still have a staff that just does the paperwork. And we have, almost 400 janitors and 400 maintenance guys.
400 people.
That's the number of people who have a card that can open this door up.
Right.
It's a 24/7 facility. If you buy that,
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you buy that membership, it is your shop, and you have to come in and clean it.
So I see long aisles dense with stuff. Can we take a walk?
Absolutely. Let's see some of the stuff we got going on.
Okay, all right, lead on.
Okay.
I just never tire of little drawers full of things.
Yeah, and each shop here operates a little bit independently. This is electronics and robotics.
Oh, okay. So this is each shop has its own hardware store.
Yeah, well, to an extent. And you always borrow, good neighbors, cup of sugar, box of bolts. But yeah, so the focus here is, every once in a while we have a free night, teach anybody who comes in how to solder, because it's not that hard. We've got some cheap kits they can buy. But yeah, components. I don't know about all makers, but there's a lot of hoarding. And personally, for me to release all of my treasured items to a place like this,
have you done that?
Has opened up my basement quite a bit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about log jam, and I haven't heard you specifically talk about cruft. So cruft the term, it's something that's too good to throw away.
Yeah.
But you don't really have a use for it right now.
It's too expensive to throw away, but too inexpensive to sort correctly.
Well, that's log jam.
That's log jam. Oh,
cruft is like your in-process project you never finished.
Oh,
or I'm not using that drone.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to give up that connector set because I might need one.
So you donated all of those.
You give it here, and it floats around, and if you actually need it, you can probably get it back from whichever sucker took it.
Wow, okay. That's a great place. That's a great way to make sure, because one of the problems is you don't want to throw it away because you'd be killing it.
Yeah.
But if it comes into a pool like this and other people use it, so this is one of two kinds of spaces here. This is one of the shops. It's the
This is one of our
electronic
shops, yeah.
But then you also have micro studios where people have their work set up.
Just as much stuff in people's spaces.
Okay.
But we try to keep a baseline of functionality and a place for us to teach.
Yeah.
And with electronic parts are free plus shipping.
Right.
Buy 100, it's the same price as the 23 you needed.
Right.
When you blow up your 22nd, you'll be glad that you threw the other 60 that you had sitting around in a drawer here. And it's take a penny, leave a penny.
Yeah.
So we've got all of the kind of stuff that may have been obsoleted off of a production line, rolls of things. It's a fine line. You really need to have a strong hand to draw the line between e-waste and donations.
Right.
Is it something we can use? Do we have a spot for it?
Or is it going to take a bunch of work to make it usable?
Yeah. And it's when people drop off, here are our power supplies. Left over from my phone and whatever. Well, okay, is it useful? Is it necessary? Is it a weird connector? And also keep things in effect so they all become one giant power supply. Anyway, we'll do it. But yes, that's electronics and robotics.
All right, what's next?
Jewelry.
All right.
So this is our jewelry area, and it's everything. 6 traditional jewelry stations.
Oh, wow, look at that.
You got the rig, you got saws, torch, flex shaft.
The $500 Dremel?
The Fordham SR. But the with file control.
I love this.
And I really love this because we have probably 12 jewelers that studios here and kind of work here, and it's wood fit anybody's house. So they're here to exchange techniques.
Right.
They're here to compare, and they're also here because if you are working on something and you hit an anvil every 2 seconds for 4 hours, your neighbors will hunt you down.
Yes, they will. This is the most beautiful railroad tie?
I think that was formed from a railroad tie.
It's a perfect. I've never seen an anvil so well made out of a railroad.
Well, we hit it a lot, so I think it may have not always been this shape, but
that is awesome. And you've got a fume hood.
Yeah, well, so we sometimes did lamp work in here, really, and that's why this is an environment of trust.
So you have 6 stations here.
Yeah, 6 stations, which is nice for a jewelry class.
Yeah.
We have everything from stone setting and making silver bells and soldering and general things. We have a kind of micro-TIG welder, which Orion was really helpful setting us up with, because in general these are used to make dentures. And that's the primary.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, we'd like to use it to make art. Right. We'd like to use it to make interesting things, and so we'll probably see some of them as we go through people's spaces. But those are the kinds of partnerships. So when they're not training, they don't need the training rig, so it can kind of be here, and people can do interesting things. And maybe make a brochure.
What a playground.
We'll see some examples.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. This is the wood shop. It's our largest because wood projects tend to be large, and there's a lot of people.
Oh, nice. And so each one is a
each
person. Oh, right,
third.
that makes
Yeah,
total
so you can get a
sense.
guess as to what people are up to.
Yeah.
Basically a full cabinet shop. And so, there's the range of classes you can have in there. Mostly tool testing, but also a few project-based. Make a box shelf or make an on-deck chair, what have you. But now we're starting to get into kind of metal.
Right.
We've got the shelf storage, the vertical storage, horizontal storage for sheets, 4x8 sheets of stuff. But basically, we get a lot of, steel comes in long,
Yep.
and it leaves in many different shapes. But
This is what Jamie always said, that what makers do is we take large things and make them smaller in precise ways.
well, that's a great start. So this is kind of CNC Alley.
Oh, wow.
So the multicam was an industrial machine. So it's not subtle. It is a big beast, and this is happy to run through aluminum, wood, plastic, what have you. It's got a vacuum pull down table and about a 5 by 10 foot work area.
Amazing.
On a 5 by 12 bed. So the whole kind of bed slides back and forth,
Sure.
and the head goes back and forth. But getting it to run is non-trivial. So we have a shop bot, and VCarve is just the easiest thing for people to approach.
Yeah.
And the learning of the machining and whatever else is a lot simpler. So we see John's back there plastic nailing something onto the bed,
Oh, I see.
which is great because then you just whack it off. It's a good way to affix it while you're working on the shop bot.
Plastic nails?
Plastic nails.
Do they fit in a standard pin nailer?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, all right. We're gonna.
I
go.
did not know about this.
John, can we play with the plastic nail gun? Put the safety on, please.
So plastic nails,
What?
high-end nail gun. They're from the timber industry. They're used for tagging trees because you don't want to hit your big saw against the nail.
Right.
And if you mill through them on here, I don't care.
Right. Of course not. And they come in a standard.
They come with a standard slightly modified Omer high-end
Wow.
nail gun.
I did not know such a thing existed. I love learning about a tool, a material that I did not know about. Well, there's many layers to this.
Oh yeah. Well, this is CNC Alley. So
come here.
I don't know how familiar you might have been with Project Hexapod, but to give you a hint, the Kickstarter video started with, haven't you always wanted a 12,000-pound, six-legged walking robot that carries two people?
Yes.
Yes. Well, the people that did were really passionate about it. One of the reasons this place exists, and this table is part of what that Kickstarter helped do.
So this is a plasma table?
Yes, it's a plasma table. Does up to a half-inch thick steel.
Amazing.
So the Mark II robot that you may have seen shooting stuff was fabricated in part on this.
Beautiful.
Before a really interesting drive across the country to its new home in Oakland.
They got stopped a lot?
Well, it's an interesting thing to drive a giant robot gun-wielding torso across
I can
the
imagine
country.
that people will stop you just to ask what the hell's going on.
Yeah, and some of them have flashing lights.
I've had that happen to me.
Yeah, well,
from
yeah,
time to time.
that's how you know you're doing something interesting. But yeah, so this is a process. But we can pop into the rest of the welding bay and
let's
take a
do
peek
it.
there. So welcome to our main metalworking and welding. One of the really cool things is if you didn't go to vocational school, they just were learning. So people make all of our furniture and our racks. And so you can see our stands and whatever else. They look like they were welded by somebody welding for the first time because you can only grind away so much chain. Not all chain will buff out.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And if we don't need anything, then they cut it up and put it back together. So our carts get a little smaller over time, but it's a nice way for people to not have to have a big materials fee and be able to come and actually make a real thing at the same time.
I see you got a nice shear, 36-inch shear here.
Yep, we got a shear.
And a brake. Finger brake, that's great.
Yep, the brake, pipe bender, plasma cutter is in here.
That's great.
And one of the exciting things is, one of the things we learned is these ventilation systems aren't really great unless you're within a foot of them.
Right.
And that's not how we work. So we're super psyched. These just came in. We got these at an auction from a consumer products plant that was closed down. So it took us a week to clean all the deodorant out of them. It was in a deodorant factory. Of all the bad smells we've ever had here, that was the best bad smell to get rid of. So they probably still. But so
these
really,
movable fume
they're
hoods.
movable fume hoods that are the right
great.
way because it's we don't want to necessarily have kids and whatever else exposed to that as we expand our programming if we go that way. And just in general, be able to, in time, you have to be open to opportunity. We don't have any institutional funding so we just have to wait and, this thing's on auction. Okay, are we all in? Okay, let's do it. And that's the kind of the way things go. This is probably notching. Probably notching for bike frame. Build your own bike frame is one of our most popular classes.
Got it.
Because it's a long class because we teach you everything from notching, brazing, all the way through. And so it's 3 people at a time. So it usually sells out in 2 days. And we just need more instructors. But that's a good problem to have. So
It's so it's a great space.
people have brought in their trailers to work on.
Right.
Giant robots. Yeah, you're getting bored of that story. I don't know. But a lot of sculpture. This place is super busy. The month before Burning Man, we call Space Madness here because the space is insane. And the number of projects, whether they include Ground is Lava, which is a series of platforms that are built to keep you so you never touch the ground in this particular area. Why not? It's much better than which you and I would remember when you went to the doctor. They had all the envelopes. And it had the 2 letters from your name on the edge. That's called a safety envelope. And about half to a third of all of them in the world were made in this building. Until they stopped using envelopes in medical offices. So now all the remaining ones are made in another plant. This one got shut down, and we were really psyched because we moved in. It was about 5% occupied 6 years ago when they took a gamble on us. We took a gamble on them.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we got powder coating, an oven. There's some very specific things that let you call a room a paint room that this doesn't have, just fire suppression in the hood. So it's the vented room.
Right.
It's really important to have a system. because we only have so much space.
Yeah.
It's important that we have a finishing space where spray paint won't drift into it.
Dusty or free
Dusty,
or dust.
So trying to keep a clean inside and a messier side. You can see this is for our thermoformer.
Oh,
progress.
nice.
So this might be a familiar frame.
Yes,
you
yes,
know?
yes, yes.
So anything that's in here should have a note on it with both when it is okay to move and when you are going to move it, so that if somebody else needs the space, we use maker's racks because you can throw a lot of stuff. It's a nice way to
really?
not have to manhandle somebody else's project. But yeah.
Oh, that's
so,
really awesome.
Yeah, so this is kind of the sort of thing, and hopefully we have info on how to get everybody in, clean up, and make use of the shared resource. The place seems huge, but essentially we've taken about $1 million a year and turned it into this building.
Wow.
We then have no money left.
Right.
So we treat every square foot here is our currency.
Yeah.
Every square foot here belongs to someone or something.
Right.
And that's why we have that kind of ticketing system.
And I notice a spirit of shared use. Understand there's always other people who are going to maybe need this space under different circumstances.
Yeah, well, it's all about flexibility, being able to address the need, and you have higher utilization. We pay that cost of setup and teardown time.
Yeah.
The multicam, it's an amazing, huge working CNC machine that doesn't have the uptime to justify invest in that. And you're going to see a lot of those just babied machines brought back, including one of my favorites. Everybody's kind of aware of flammable storage.
Yep.
So we have kind of trying to keep things in check, but then these are kind of the shared flammables for larger quantities of things. More storage. We have pallet storage, so you can see that if you have an entire pallet, these are kind of interesting because the deal is it has to be on a pallet so we can move this if we need it out of the way. Again, it's about flexibility. So this is pallet storage, but then my current favorite machine is this one. This is ArborPress number 4. This is 125 years old or so, and I still have to.
How do you bring it?
Unit number,
so magnificent.
Yeah, 119 from the Hill & Clark Machinery Company of Boston. And it's just, there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
That's maybe a little more work than something with a more modern release mechanism, but...
I love the counterweight. God, it feels good.
Yeah, I mean, why not be a working museum?
Hey guys, Adam Savage here in my cave. Today we're talking about, well, you clicked on the link, we're talking about seeing. I've been thinking about this video for a long time, and I've got some supporting materials for it. It's a really important one to me, which means it's taken me a while to creep up on. I don't do a ton of pre-writing into these pieces to camera that I shoot alone. But in this case, it's slightly different. This story begins with me frequenting over the past few years a lot more online forums like the Machinist subreddit or the Practical Machinist forum. And there's some other home machinist forums that people post their stuff on, they post questions on. And it's not a thermal, I don't think it's a thermoplastic. No, it's not a thermoplastic, but at any rate, it gets molded into its shape. This is the end of its shape. Now, a lot of people sell stock on eBay like this, and I buy a lot of stock from people on eBay like this. But let's say you've got this piece and you want to photograph it. We played 8-ball, and I played 8-ball and straight pool. I'm fair to middling at 9-ball. I even played a little 3-cushion billiards back in the day, my late teens and early 20s. And I got very serious about playing. I collected a library of over 80 books on pool going back to 1880. I went to tournaments. I hung out with hustlers. I never hustled for money. I was never that good. Not that that's what stopped me hustling for money, but I was never good enough to do that. But I hung out with hustlers, and I even actually